Oh my God, it's Dewey Freeman.
Good morning, Mr. Sylvester.
How are you? We're the Elder Council. We're here to talk about the stuff that if you were 25, 35, or 45, no one told you about. But if your future self came back, time traveled back and sat down and said, hey, young Skywalker, watch out for that girl. She's going to wreck your life. You probably wouldn't listen to your own damn self.
You know, I don't think either one of us are talking from experience when you say that.
I read that shit in the book. Oh, the choices we make, right? We've talked about that a lot.
Someone would have actually said those things and that I would have actually really listened.
Well, see, that therein lies the question. Would even, we've stacked all the chips in your favor. It's you recognize you trust you, and you're speaking from experience, yet you still are going to go, yeah, no, she's pretty nice. I'm gonna hang.
The sex is good.
Yeah. So listen, I've been thinking about, and I want to remind our listener, if you have something you'd love us to talk about, please put it in the comments. We would love, we have a list. I have a 2-year list of topics.
Exactly.
Right. But today I want to talk about resourcefulness. It has a huge meaning for me. And it's, do you have the resources to be resourceful? Do you know how to use the resources? Do you know what you have? There's all of that. There's a ton of stuff there. So when I say resourcefulness, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, it's similar to what you're saying. What comes to mind is, do you have the resources that you need? And do you have some place to go to get them if you need them? And are you also willing to delve into yourself, deep into yourself, and literally grab your ass by both hands and do what you need to do?
Someone had said, if you need more resources, you just need to be more resourceful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think about, our listener knows that I kind of semi-retired several months ago. And as I tell people that, they just laugh in my face, Dewey. They go, right, you're retired. Okay, sure, great. What other stories are you telling yourself, sir?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm in qualifying that, I'm suggesting that I'm in control of my inbox.
Mm.
Right. I don't have people telling me what to do. I'm not waiting for an email from someone so I can do something. I'm not. And as I've been thinking about that a lot, and I even wrote about it yesterday and again today, I've been chasing the hustle since I was 12. When I needed money for something, I forget what it was. I wanted to buy something, and I went to my mom and she says, great, get a job. I was 12, dude. So I've been asking people for money, not for nothing. I mean, in exchange for me doing something. Typically it's been around me creating something in one way or another. I don't really get paid for labor. I get paid for creating stuff, whether it was cooking or sign painting or art production or whatever it was. But I'm at the point right now where it's like, I'm not waiting. I'm not chasing customers. I'm not chasing new business. I'm not chasing, that kind of stuff. And I have to say that I think, here it is. I think chasing the hustle is an addiction.
You still see that it's an addiction?
Oh yeah.
For yourself?
Yeah, because I'm like, Mark, you don't need, you're cool. Don't need to do that. Don't need, and so I had to keep reminding myself, I don't need to do that. Now I am helping Kimberly with her school, and but I do my pod. I'm not chasing sponsors, for instance, for this. When I do my TEDx, I'm looking for new speakers, but I'm not having to make this value proposition conversation in exchange for value. I will give you this. So I'm crafting communications, and I'm being resourceful, which is really what it is. So the resource of money, which allows us to do the things we want to do. And then how do you communicate to be able to go to the person who has the money? It's a customer, it's a donor, it's a whoever, it doesn't matter. You're still crafting some value prop to get that money.
So part of what you're saying is that you're not selling, and when I say this, I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but you're not selling yourself. You're not selling your resources. You're not selling your talents at this point.
Well, I'll give you a perfect example of that. So there was a guy who I coached, and I coached him through, we did like a 3-month engagement, got him going on building a school and an online presence and all that kind of stuff. And had a meeting with him, just a recent meeting, just so I want to hear how things are going. And it went through my head. Now, should I charge him for this, or should I say, hey, would you like to continue working together? Or should I do anything that smelt commercial in an elegant way again? And I was like, yeah, no, don't. Yes, I could, but
perfectly within the realm of what you do to do that.
Exactly. Yet say no. Now, mind you, the people that are listening right now are going, okay, great, Sylvester. So you don't need to work. Yeah.
So I'm
fuck,
38.
Fuck you.
So I still, yeah.
Fuck you. No, I get it. But I'm just saying that I've just been noticing that within myself, that my inner Mark is always saying, how can I commercialize the conversation? There it is. How can I commercialize this relationship? So it's interesting how I've always kind of looked at something as either a current client or a potential client. And I got to get over that.
You mentioned addiction. What's the addiction to?
Enjoying making money. I think that's what it is. Someone asked me, I've been an artist my whole life, but I've never been one of those art for art's sakes guy. I just paint. Well, why did you paint? Oh, I just painted. I had a really? That's what I'll say. Really? What? Are you selling it to somebody? Or are you doing it for somebody? No, just my artistic freedom. I never had that relationship with art. Mine was always, I'm creating things that are beautiful, like ocean in a bottle or tie-dyed shirts or whatever. In high school, selling that stuff, because those were things that people would buy. And now I'm at a point in life where they'll buy the ideas, they'll buy the experience, they'll buy the coaching, they'll buy the, hey, Mark, how do I fill in the blank?
So I'm going to take a slight tangent here. Many times I work with people who they'll walk in and they say, well, I have a love addiction. And typically when they're saying that, what they do is go from one person to another to another. And since we're talking about men and in this council, many times it's men chasing women. And they're what I oftentimes see and what I oftentimes look at is there's some level of an addiction to the people get addicted to the chase. People get addicted to the newness. They get addicted to the thrill of the chase, the adrenaline, and going to land this, whether it's a relationship with a woman or whether it's sex or whatever. But then when they get into it, when they land, when they get what they're going after, then they're done, or they're close to done. It's actually, it's a piece that keeps people from deepening into something. Is there any, so what happens is that people actually get addicted to the chase. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm rolling that around, Doc, and that I don't like that part of it.
Okay.
I haven't never really been that guy as it relates to relationships, but in terms of like, hey, I just want to get as many customers as I can, and I just love going to get customers, and I love doing I'm good at that, but I like doing the work. As it turns out, I really like doing the work. So which is why I love storytelling school, because my job isn't to go get the customers. I mean, I help, but my job is to show up on mastermind calls and, add my, 2 cents, and to work with her privates and work with, the people we've got in the mastermind, the high-end mastermind groups, on how do we, all the business related stuff. And that I couldn't love that anymore. And I still love making stuff. It's what I've just noted again, this idea of retiring or semi-retiring has been this constant, like, I don't have to go chase a client. I am busy doing other things that I want to do, and I'm not chasing a client. And it's not that I miss it, right? I'm not missing that. It's just like, hey, dude, you don't need to do that. Focus your brain on other stuff. So my question, and I don't know that this will answer it, is how long does it take for that to fade away? And maybe I should go talk to some of my buddies who are, now retired 3 to 5 years, and they're golfing or fishing or traveling in RVs or whatever.
Well, let me relate that to the addiction piece, because here's what I see with you is, once you quote land something, what you're saying, and I've seen this directly with you, I've experienced this with you, is that what really turns you on is the relationship of what you're doing, the creation within a relationship. Is that accurate?
Correct.
So let me speak to that a minute, because this is going to really twist this around. I do not see that process of really stepping into the relationship as an addiction. What I see as an addiction with people is that they're doing the chase, or they're doing the selling, or they're doing the something as a replacement for being in a relationship. And what you do is you do the selling or the monetizing or the whatever so that you can be in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Would that be an accurate statement?
Yeah, 100%.
So
I love that part.
Yes. And so here's how I look at this. And it's actually what people say to me. They say, Dewey, you care about me because I pay you. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. Or you support me because I pay you. And it's like, and my response is, you can't buy my love. I think there was some song about that.
Money can't buy you love.
Yeah. By this, I don't know, this little tiny group called the Beatles or something.
I'd heard of them.
Yeah, I read about them.
Just put them on my playlist.
Yeah. But you can't buy love. You can't buy, somebody cannot buy my caring. Somebody cannot buy my expertise. Somebody cannot buy your caring or your expertise. What people are paying for me is my time. And what I give during that time is up to me. It's my caring, my love, my expertise, my experience. And that's what I see with you is, and I'm not sure that's ever going to go away.
I'm pretty sure it won't.
And I'm not sure it's something that you want to have go away,
Right.
because that is who you are. I've known you long enough and well enough and deeply enough to know that what I see you do is do X, Y, and Z for the purpose of deepening into a relationship of some sort and being creative in some way, which interestingly enough is a very resourced kind of a way, and where you're providing a resource for somebody, but also the creativity that you get to experience, and creativity and relationship with other people that you get to experience, is that gives us energy and that gives us resource.
The yes and to that is I enjoy being in a problem-rich environment only in as much as that gives me something to work with to help solve, because I love solving problems. I just love, it's just, I'm not a very good puzzle guy, honestly, but I love problems because I feel like I have an approach to them. My 5-step thing, I bam, bam, bam. And I love wicked problems that they're more interesting. In fact, I've got a friend who has a site called wickedproblemsolving.com. He's the man. He's Jedi master. I'm a black belt. He glows in the dark, but I love that, to that point, which is whatever that problem is, I'm agnostic of what the problem is. It kind of doesn't matter to me, literally in any realm. And if I don't know, I'm back to resourcefulness. Google is my second best friend. I will, and now that I've got,
Kimberly's my best friend and Google's my second best friend.
Yeah, because I can just talk to the watch and get an answer without, I don't even have to do this anymore. I can just, hey, what is the, how do you, and I've learned how to do a query, ask a question in a really natural way. And the smart folks at Google know that. Like, everybody thinks you have to be really specific about how you do Google. No, just ask the question as if you were asking a friend. How do I and you'll get an answer like within under 3 minutes. I challenge you to not get a pretty damn good answer to anything in life. So if you're curious, most people don't ask, right? They just don't ask. Well, God, and then they struggle. Whoa, stop. Hey, how do we do this thing? We're on. And to that end, that's part of that being resourceful is you're right. I am a resource for other people. And it's because and for myself, I have this notion that I want to be able to solve the problem on my own. Even if I know it's in a book, that's still on my own. Even if someone else has that, that's, to me, it's on my own. And I think it comes from again, back to when I was 12, having my mom bought me the World Book Encyclopedias, 26 set. And I read the whole thing.
We had the exact same ones.
Did you? From 1925.
Pretty much.
We probably bought it at a garage sale that your family sold it from. I think she spent $20 and got them, and I read the whole thing. And so I've always been enchanted with knowledge across any domain.
They were
And
pre-Google.
And I think to your
So,
point is you want the relationship so you can get in there and dig in and what do you got? Okay, here's a good one. Buddy of mine, it's him and his brother. They're young 20s, 25 million views of their YouTube video every month. They do 2 a month, 25 million views. And they're bona fide YouTubers. They make probably 10, 12 million bucks a year. And the kid, 20-year-old. I mean, it's the family enterprise now, 17 people on the payroll. And he called because they're trying to figure out how do they do long-term strategic planning? How do they scale and grow? And I love, that's what a great, I'm right in my happy place figuring that one out, right? And this happened yesterday. Went through my brain. I said, should I ask him, would it be okay if I told you what it's like to work with me? And then pitch him. And I was like, so I'm having a little committee meeting in my head while I'm talking to him. And I was like, no, just help the cat out and move on and wish him the best. And so once my committee made that decision, just here, do this. And I said at the end, I said, was that helpful? He says, we're just on the phone, so I couldn't see him, but I could see him just shaking his head going, he blew my mind, dude. And I was like, okay, I want to be that resource to that 20-year-old is going to go, and going to change everything for him in 6 months, like him and his family and whatever. Anyway, talking too much this morning.
No, that's actually, so here's the issue that I see. And I think I'm going to tie this into my experience yesterday, because I had a different kind of experience where I got up but they are linked. Our power was out. We'd had another major snowstorm. It was like I canceled my morning so that I could plow. But here's where resources get stuck when they do get stuck. For both the person that you spoke about and also for me. The truth is I had a really good time yesterday morning. I'm out. It was 9 degrees. I started, after I fed, I started my tractors and started plowing and moving snow and getting stuff for the horses. It was absolutely gorgeous, beautiful. Just, we didn't have any power out here. Thankfully, my tractors run on diesel, not electricity. And but it struck me in the middle of that what I was not saying was that this shouldn't be happening. If I were to get up in the morning and go, well, we got snow and the power's out and that shouldn't happen, God damn it. And now my day's fucked because I can't do this and I can't do this and I can't do this. And when we go to a place of having a problem of some sort, whether it's the snow and the electricity going out or whether it's this dude calling you, is when we go to a place of this shouldn't be happening because my power shouldn't go out, God damn it, or I shouldn't have to plow snow and cancel the vast majority of my day. Or this YouTube dude is calling you and going, well, this shouldn't be happening, but I'm having trouble with this. It's like, yeah, it's happening and it should be happening because it is. So that, does that make sense? And it's like, yeah, we're supposed to get snow up here at 7,500 feet in the Rockies in Colorado. That's what it's supposed to be. And it's like, at times our power will go out because that's how it's supposed to be, because that's what nature does at times. That's why I have the tractors I have. That's why I have the equipment I have. That's why I have the clothing I have. And it's like, yeah, this is supposed to be going on. But if I walk out and I go, man, the power company sucks, and not this isn't supposed to happen, and I'm supposed to be able to keep all my appointments and blah blah blah. It's like, then we're dead in the water, which is it's exactly what you did. It's like this guy calls you, and you somewhere inside went, and maybe probably not even consciously, went, yeah, this is supposed to be happening. He's supposed to be calling me. I'm supposed to be. He called me because of my reputation of this, this, and this, and then it's boom. You didn't have to sell yourself because you knew inside that when there's a problem, the resourcefulness comes when we go, oh, this is supposed to be happening,
Mhm.
versus it's
So
not supposed to be happening.
I, we've talked about victim because what I heard was I'm a victim to my circumstance. I'm a victim today. I'm a victim to the power company. I'm a victim to the weather gods. I'm a victim to whatever, a victim of somebody stealing a half hour of my time to, pick my brain. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. And we've talked about that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
How, and I know my answer, but the person who's listening to us right now, what tool, what could you say to them to flip that coin to the other side? And I finally remembered the quote. The quote is, it's not that you lack resources, it's that you lack resourcefulness.
Exactly.
That's the quote. I was mischaracterizing it earlier. So how do you flip from being the victim to not being the victim? Because that's a story you're telling yourself. And I've told this before, me and another guy talking, and we have to tell a life story, true story of how we had become a victim. And we do, and have to convince the other person, oh, fuck, I can't believe that happened to you. And then unbeknownst to us, the facilitator said, okay, now tell the same story and make it so it was your fault. So you weren't victimized, it was your fault.
Mm-hmm.
And then you instantly, and I was young enough when that happened to me that ever since then, it's like, yep, I could tell this story right now, how I'm being fucking victimized. And I'm not talking about being robbed or anything. I'm not talking about that. Or I could say it's my fault, or it's not even a fault at all. It's like, huh. And so I'm curious, Doc, how do we help people? Because this is a big one, I think. How do we help people be aware? So this is conscious incompetence. They're conscious that they're not dealing with this, to get them to conscious competence. Hey, I need to change the story I'm telling myself. And then eventually it becomes unconscious competence.
Before I say what I'm going to say, I do very strongly believe that there are times where we are victimized. When somebody is assaulted, when somebody is raped, when somebody
Yes
is robbed at gunpoint, that does happen. And however, most of the time when we're going, it's your fault or it's my fault, what we're doing is judging the situation. And oftentimes in that judgment of the situation, we're also judging ourselves, or we're judging another. If I go out and go, damn, the power company doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, that's a judgment.
Yeah.
That's different than a powered. Or if I go, well, the power company's out, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't have resources, and I'm ending up judging myself. one of the biggest stumbling blocks that most people have is that level of judgment. And it's like you're judging yourself on, or you're judging another person, or you're judging your partner, or because that's what blame is. What blame is judgment. And again, there is truly places in our lives where we are victimized. There are also times when we feel that we should be privileged enough to never have to deal with anything difficult. And the underlying story of that life is always supposed to be rainbows and roses just doesn't cut it. That's just not a true piece that happens. And I'm not one of the people that walk around in the world going, no, everything's horrible either. It's like my goal is to walk around in the world in a much more neutral way. And I think I've talked about valence on me way a long time ago. Do you remember if I did?
Did you say valence?
Yeah, valence.
No, just not ringing a bell, but if
Okay.
it's not, then let's repeat it.
Yeah, let me talk about that. Well, are you familiar with the valence of like an atom? Like there's a proton, a neutron, and an electron.
Okay, I know those three words.
Okay, so learned that in 8th grade. Protons have positive charges, electrons have negative charges. If there's a molecule with one proton, one neutron, one electron, then positive and negative cancel each other out. So that's a zero valence.
Okay.
If there's two protons and one electron, it's a positive valence of 1. If there's 3 protons and 1 electron, it's a positive valence of 2.
Okay, I'm with you.
If there's 3 protons and 5 electrons, it's a negative valence of 2. So you're looking at positive or negative charge. There's a difference between having a zero valence, which is coming in with an energy, because that's what valence is a measurement of a zero valence. It doesn't mean that you're not powerful. It doesn't mean you're not attentive, because a lot of times when I talk about this, people go, oh, well, I'm just not supposed to judge. I don't have any judgment in the world, and I'm not supposed to feel. It's like, no, you're supposed to have all kinds of feelings. It's just that the judgment of those feelings is zero. Or if there's a problem, it's like, oh, it's 9 degrees out. It snowed a little over a foot. Oh, there's no electricity in the house. Oh, it's like, okay, this is what's happening. If I go a negative valence and go, this shouldn't be happening, the power company, that's what I'm talking about. If I go positive valence and go, oh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then that also interestingly stops you from doing what you need to do, because the truth is sitting on a tractor at 9 degrees plowing through a foot of snow isn't always.
Where's the line to get in to do that?
Yes. And
said the guy from the beach town.
But and it's a very similar thing to when I walk up to my horses and it's that cold and it's that much snow and the horses are going, this is what's happening.
Let me reflect back that this is exactly the nub of this. if you're positive or negative valence, so you're positive or negatively charged. I love that. The visual for that was really, really good. Thank you. Um, I'm you're not going to be as resourceful because you're charged. You're emotionally
Yes.
charged. So it's hard to see clearly one way or the other because you're charged,
Hmm.
right? And
Agreed.
so you're not able to think clearly and say, okay, I don't have I call my neighbor. Does he have a tractor? Or I don't have hey, make a note, buy a tractor next week and deal with, wait till the snow melts. Make a note, that, which is fine, right?
Totally.
I have to say that this idea of noting, because you said noting, you note, oh, this is happening, and there's no judgment around it. This is happening, not positive or negative. I've only in the last 6 years been introduced to that idea, and it's
Mm,
from my meditation through Andy and
absolutely.
Headspace. He will say, he'll get us, to quiet everything down, get relaxed, get ready to sit, and then as the thoughts come into your brain, just note them. Oh, I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking
Mhm.
about that. And then he'll say, note, is it a thought or is it a feeling? But still don't do any judgment on it. So just note it.
It just is.
It just is. You just note it. And I my relationship with meditation is a day-to-day thing, but it's not the 20 minutes I'm sitting, it's the 23 hours and 40 minutes I'm living, that you take that practice and practice it, right? Where it's just
Exactly.
like, oh, uh, for an example, in my life, when technology doesn't work, like before our show today, the audio was all borked up. In the past, oh, I would be like this. I would be negatively charged, which
Hmm.
would then bleed into the show. And I've learned, no, yeah, that's happening. Hey, I need to reboot, and rebooting was fine. And I didn't get excited because it worked. It was just, oh, now it's working.
Now
And
we're on, right?
and so I think that's the nub of it. Is it's always interesting how this comes in the last bit of the show, that you can't even be resourceful if, man, I hate to say can't, but it's going to be harder to be resourceful if if you're emotionally charged, and you're typically needing to be resourceful when you're trying to solve a problem, and you can't let the problem affect you, or you're not going to be able to be resourceful. Man, that was a loopy paragraph, but did I get it?
Yeah, you did. And here's a piece I want to throw in here is that many people will go, you can't be resourceful if you're seeing things negatively.
Oh, that's a thing. Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah, some people
Okay.
say that.
Okay.
What I'm saying is your resourcefulness gets limited by seeing things, by being almost too excited too. Because if you think about it, and you do a lot of stuff with TED and TEDx and TED Talks, and actually your wife partner Kimberly talked about a person who was going on to a TED Talk and got so anxious that she almost pulled out of the TED Talk.
Oh, he locked
And
himself in a hotel room.
yeah, and it's like, if you think about stage fright, which is what that might be called, as excitement, part of what happens is that when we get into that place, we cannot think.
Mm.
We're so excited. I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And it's like our system shuts down then too, just as much as our system shuts down if it's overly negative. And I want to be really clear, I'm not suggesting that there's anything wrong with either of those places. In fact, if you go to either of those places and you go, oh, well, this is what's happening, then it brings it back to that zero valence. It's like, yeah, I'm so excited. Like I'm going to wet my pants. I'm so excited. It's like, okay, well, just be there.
I love that valence and balance are separated by the letter B. And if you just
Ooh.
be, then you're going to get to that balance. There's my mic drop, my
There
friend.
is the mic drop. Very nice.
Dewey Freeman, I love our conversations.
I do too. This is
Man, I say that every week.
Well, let's just meet next week and do it one more time.
I promise to be here. I'll see you then.
All right.